Sterling and Tuca dash through the bustling streets, narrowly avoiding oncoming traffic as they run with reckless urgency. Eventually, they slip into a nearby building and ascend quickly to the rooftop. From above, they observe a group of athletes engaged in an intense race. Motivated and determined, both girls are rigorously training in hopes of earning a college scholarship through their dedication to track and field. Tuca, fueled by an intense passion for running, tells Sterling with unwavering conviction that she's going to train as if there's no tomorrow. As the two walk through the city streets, they come across a roadside altar dedicated to a boy named DJ. Observing its neglected state, Tuca remarks pointedly that there's little purpose in setting up such memorials if no one is going to care for them. Upon arriving at Sterling's house, Tuca urges her to leave and meet her later at the slideshow. However, before Sterling can respond, her mother steps in and firmly tells Tuca that Sterling will not be attending the illegal drag race. Later that night at the slideshow, Tuca reunites with a boy named Lee Easton. Sterling ultimately shows up at the race as well. Sterling explains to Tuca and Lee that she told her mother she was attending a last-minute late-night track practice being held right next to the slideshow. After some time passes, she turns to Tuca and says she needs to leave, as she has to be in bed by 11. Tuca scoffs at the idea, teasing her by saying that even the super nerdy kids stay out until midnight. Frustrated, Sterling lashes out, telling Tuca that she's not as naturally gifted. She explains that no matter how hard she pushes her body while running, she still trails a few seconds behind. Exhausted and emotional, she insists that she genuinely needs the rest and storms off. Realizing the impact of her words, Tuca quickly follows after her, catches up, and sincerely apologizes. As Tuca crosses the street, a car suddenly strikes her. Moments later, she regains consciousness, lying alone on the pavement in the early morning light. Dazed and disoriented, she begins to walk through the neighborhood until she comes across a large crowd gathered outside a church. Curious, she steps inside, only to realize that no one seems to notice her presence. At the front, Sterling stands at the microphone and firmly announces to the gathered crowd that no one is allowed to call Tuca by her full name, Petrushka. To Tuca's shock, Sterling begins speaking in detail about Tuca's entire life, her dreams, her quirks, her relentless drive. Confused and alarmed, Tuca tries to interrupt, insisting she isn't dead, but no one reacts. Desperate, she climbs onto the stage and speaks directly to Sterling, only to realize that even her closest friend cannot hear or see her. As Sterling finishes her heartfelt speech, Tuca's eyes wander, and then she sees it, her own body lying still inside the coffin. Overcome with fear and confusion, Tuca runs out of the church, her panic growing with every step. Gasping for breath, she finally stops and takes a moment to collect herself. Once she's calmed down, she returns to the spot where she first woke up that morning. As she looks around, fragments of the previous night begin to return to her. Then, something catches her eye, an altar, now bearing her name, photos, and candles. She stares at it in disbelief. If she truly is dead, she wonders aloud, why is she still here? With a heavy heart, she sits down quietly beside the altar, lost in thought. Lee arrives at Sterling's house to visit her. He tells her that what she set up there at the service was perfect. But Sterling doesn't feel that way. She says she blames herself for what happened to Tuca. She thinks that she should have stayed instead of storming off. She tells him that she heard Tuca calling her name that night but pretended not to hear it. Sterling says she was the reason Tuca ran after her. Lee gently tries to comfort her, saying that she was tired and it's okay. He adds that Tuca never stopped, that trying to keep up with her was nearly impossible. In his eyes, the only person truly to blame is the driver who hit her and fled. Sterling expresses how deeply unfair it feels, that the man who hit Tuca could just get away with it. Lee asks if she has gone to the police yet. She replies that she filed a report, and gave them a description of both the car and the driver a couple of days ago, but hasn't even received a call back since. Lee suggests they go to the station right now and make the police listen. Sterling agrees, asking him to give her a moment to change. Unseen, Tuca sits nearby, quietly listening to their entire conversation. Later, at the police station, the officer tells them that the description they provided matches thousands of men, and the car is most likely already stripped down in a chop shop by now. The officer tells them to come back if they get any new information. Frustrated, Tuca mocks the officer under her breath, saying if she thinks people don't talk to cops, she should try being dead. But then it suddenly hits her, being dead means people won't stop talking around her. Realizing this, Tuca takes to the streets, eavesdropping on strangers in hopes of learning more about her death. Eventually, she comes across two guys playing basketball. As they talk, she overhears them discussing how to get rid of a car. One of them mentions storing the vehicle at Lex Custom Auto until the heat dies down, since the cops don't have a license plate. All they know is that the car is a green Caprice. Meanwhile, Sterling shows up at the track for practice. Tuca finds her there and tries once again to speak to her. As Sterling begins her run, Tuca runs alongside her, yelling the name Lex Custom Auto over and over. Suddenly, Sterling stops, something about the name seems to reach her. She looks around, shaken, then leaves the track and heads straight to Lex Custom Auto. Inside the shop, Sterling quietly sneaks around, searching for a green Caprice with blacked out rims. Eventually, she finds a car that matches the description, except the color has been changed. As she inspects it, a man approaches and demands to know what she's doing there. Sterling tells him that the car was involved in a hit and run. The man tells her to get out, but Sterling, overcome with rage, grabs a crowbar and starts smashing the vehicle. Another man storms in with a gun pointed at her. Sterling quickly throws down the crowbar, saying she lost control and didn't mean it. A sudden loud noise distracts them, giving her the chance to escape. Outside, Tuca chases after Sterling, calling out to her. Sterling shouts back, telling her to leave her alone. As Tuca follows, she accidentally bumps into a boy, DJ. Surprised, she runs after him and pleads for help. DJ asks how she's enjoying the afterlife. Tuca, still confused, asks him what they're supposed to be doing here. DJ admits he doesn't know. He tells her about his elderly neighbor who died at 100 and stayed for a few days until she found her dog a new home. He's tried helping people too, but nothing ever seemed to change. Now, he just wanders, unsure of what he's meant to do. Back at the track, Sterling returns alone. She starts calling out to Tuca, saying that she heard her before, once when she was running at practice, and again when she fled from Lex. So she decides to start running again. As Sterling runs, Tuca's voice begins to come through clearly. Tuca tells her about the boy she met, DJ, and how he said there's something she needs to do before she can move on. Tuca believes that her purpose is to help Sterling earn the scholarship. That, she says, is what will finally set her free. From that point on, Sterling begins training with Tuca by her side. Sterling throws herself into training, pushing harder each day and night, but still finds herself falling short of the scholarship qualifying time. Frustrated, Luca urges her to grind even harder. After an intense session, the two return to the familiar rooftop where they used to sit together, sharing a quiet moment of reflection. More training follows, and finally, Sterling manages to hit the qualifying time. Her coach praises her dedication and the transformation she's achieved. Once the coach leaves, Sterling tries calling out to Luca, but Luca silently walks away. Later, Sterling visits the altar dedicated to Luca on the street. Watching her, Luca reaches out, attempting to touch the shoes placed on the altar, but her hands pass right through. Overcome with emotion, Luca yells up at the sky in frustration. She's done what was asked of her, she got Sterling ready. Now, she wants to move on. She cries out that she had spent her whole life feeling invisible, and now, even in death, that same feeling is tearing her apart. As Sterling walks home, a car pulls up beside her. 3 men step out, one of them accusing her of vandalizing his vehicle. Sterling admits she smashed a car, thinking it was the one that killed her friend. Without warning, one of the men strikes her leg with a baseball bat, leaving her injured. With the big race approaching, Sterling's coach, mother, and the police all urge her not to compete. Her leg needs at least 3 weeks to heal, and running now could cause permanent damage. But Sterling is resolute. She insists someone will win the scholarship today, and it has to be her. She made a promise to Luca, and she intends to keep it. Despite everyone's objections, she declares that she's running today, with or without their support. At the track before the race, Sterling attempts a few practice runs. The race begins, and she starts strong, but the pain in her leg quickly intensifies. She stumbles and falls, unable to stand. Later, she drags herself up the stairs to the rooftop on one leg and calls out to Luca, saying she can feel her presence. Luca appears, unsure why she's still here if her task was only to train Sterling. Overwhelmed, Sterling breaks down, regretting that she left the slideshow early, while Luca quietly admits she should have left with her. Sterling, sobbing, says she can't run anymore, and worse, she can't even talk to Luca. Through tears, she finally reveals what she had always been afraid to say: she loves her. She confesses that she tried to bury her feelings, tried to push them away, but it didn't work. Luca went away instead. Luca softly says she loves Sterling too, though Sterling cannot hear her. But then, a brilliant flash of light surrounds them. In that moment, Sterling can suddenly see, hear, and touch Luca. They move closer, about to share a kiss, but just as their lips are about to meet, Luca begins to fade away. Time suddenly rewinds, returning to the night of the accident. Sterling is kneeling beside Luca, desperately trying to wake her. Luca slowly opens her eyes and whispers, "Kiss me right now." Later, Luca visits DJ's altar and gently places a pair of shoes on it. Sterling, curious, asks why. Luca explains that DJ changed her life. Sterling, puzzled, reminds her DJ died years ago. Luca smiles and says it's a long story, one she'll share another time. As the two girls walk away together, DJ watches from a distance. He smiles, satisfied, and then begins to vanish, his purpose fulfilled. The episode ends with Sterling and Luca training together on the track, rain falling softly around them as they begin a new chapter, side by side. Like and subscribe the channel for more videos like these.